Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to another edition of Sports Daily. Are we there? Are we on the air?
We're
Can
here.
you hear us? All right, we made it. It's been an interesting morning, apparently, out there in the world. So we're glad we're here with you. We're on the air, live with you on KFH. We're going to hit 12 News Connected. We're going to hit all the usual places and be with you as we head into the weekend, as we head into the second half of the Major League Baseball season. I call it the second half. Hope that doesn't bug anybody, because that's kind of the way I look at it. We're going to have Connor Frankamp on just a little bit, a few minutes from now, to talk about the TBT coming up this weekend. The Aftershocks, the Wichita State alumni team, Purple Rain, the K-State alumni team, and Mass Street, the KU alumni team, all in action tomorrow at Charles Koch Arena. Should be a blast. So we'll have that interview for you coming up in just a little bit. Get a little preview, playing for $1 million. Aftershocks have become one of the better teams in this tournament. We know Wichita State has been the best host in this tournament, and we fully expect that to continue. So we will get into that as well. Of course, the Royals begin their trek through the second half. We've talked a lot about the trade deadline this week at the All-Star break. Now we'll kind of just look at the baseball itself and how critical is it that the Royals get this thing going right away, make it right, get it good. The SEC commissioner talking again, this time in a kind of a one-on-one with CBS Sports. Couple of things I want to take out of that, as we've been, we've sort of had alignment and realignment and all those things in the news this week and last week with the Big 12. Kind of making a little buzz. So we'll get into all of those things today. The IHOP hotline is open for you at 869-1240. You can get in touch with the program that way. You can get in touch with the program on our video streams on Facebook, on YouTube as well. We are glad to be here with you on this Friday. We'll give away a little bit of HTO coming up later in the show. We'll give away some NBC World Series tickets, our final day for those NBC World Series tickets. So stay tuned for your opportunity there. It's all coming for you. Jad Chambers, man, in that IHOP hotline. Tommy Kester on the other side here. Tommy, how are you?
I'm good. You said that we're happy to be here. I think we're fortunate to be here a little bit too. I mean, it sounds like
it.
I feel good that I'm not traveling today, not trying to fly somewhere, because I know that airlines have been disrupted everywhere and media outlets everywhere, and banks, I think, affected by this global outage. It's been crazy. And hearing our very own Jad Chambers talking about how he's been here since 12:30 this morning, Jad, getting computers all set back up so we can be on the air today. It's been a wild few hours.
Yeah, it's been
one of those
days.
A
rough one.
We appreciate it, Chad.
Yeah, thanks.
And we appreciate society for just kind of hanging in there. This is sort of that thing that you fear, right? And thankfully, it doesn't sound like this was a hack as much as just like a glitch in an update. Did we try to turn everything off and on again? I don't even. What are we going to do when it inevitably happens? That's how these other places, our enemies, are going to attack. They're just going to take us offline.
Yeah.
And what are we going to do? It'll be we'll have to reinvent ourselves a little bit. It's inevitable.
I literally know of 3 different ways to try to fix some sort of technology that's broken. You either turn it off and turn it back on. If it's like a Nintendo cartridge, you pull it out and you blow in it, then you put it back in, and then you put your device in rice. That's all. Those are the only 3 ways I know how to fix something.
And then you go Office Space.
And unfortunately, Tommy, one of those things turns out to be kind of an old wives' tale.
Oh, really? Is that the blowing in the cartridge?
No, the rice.
Oh, the rice.
No,
that doesn't work?
The rice thing. No.
Really?
It doesn't.
I thought you could put your phone in rice and it would dry it out.
It can. The problem is, if the damage has been done, the damage has already been done. The first thing you need to do is shut it off. Then dry it out somehow. Rice is fine, but sometimes little particles of it can get in, and it's not good. The important thing is to shut it off, then dry it completely, then do whatever. So there you go.
If you have not had a major technology failure and had the great pleasure of working with an IT person or an engineer that tells you, well, did you try turning it off and back on again? And then that ultimately solving the problem.
That's what you have to do to fix it.
If you haven't experienced that level of white hot rage, you have not lived.
Yeah,
because it happens all the time.
I talked to an IT person that I know, somebody that had worked with IT professionals, and they've been like, man, like everyone I've worked with they're kind of rude. They're kind of a jerk. Like, yeah, because they deal with idiots like us all day, every single day.
That's your job. Like it's like imagine your parents trying to learn a piece of technology, and you're just like, seriously, like like imagine that sensation 24 hours of your workday.
Yeah.
Like always like you're like, okay.
And you get unclear, they get unclear direction, like they get a phone call or an email. This doesn't work. Great. Like, what's wrong with it? Oh, it just doesn't work.
Like, is it like, on fire? Like, what is the problem?
Like, what's the problem? Come on.
I've always loved the IT people. It's an entire industry, like broadcast engineering, which is what we would deal with, for radio or for TV. Some of my favorite people in the world, because they literally save your life so often. And it's just funny to watch it, because I know it exists everywhere. And we don't get like the IT guy versus our broadcast engineers are very different. But that first solution is always the same. And it always works. Almost, I would say 80% of the time it works. And I get a taste of it because I will do that to my wife. She's like, the printer is just not working. I'm like, okay, well, what did we try? I don't know. I mean, I just like, like her solution to a tech problem is to just like rapid fire ram the on button as hard as she can, as fast as she can. And I'm like, that's not actually going to help anything, which is not a good thing to say to somebody in that moment of rage. I'm like, did you try like unplugging it and plugging it back in? And then you get the appropriate reaction and it works. And so I'm like, I get it. I get what engineers now deal with all the time.
I got a phone call from my wife the other day. She was trying to print out something at our house, and she was in my office, my home office. She calls me and she says, I'm trying to print from your computer and I can't get your computer to turn on. I need to turn your computer on so I can print. I can't figure it out. Why is your computer not turning on? And I said, honey, because I don't have a computer in my office. It's a monitor. It's not an actual computer. I just have a monitor that I plug my laptop into when I'm at home. There is no computer to actually turn on. So you're not going to have any kind of luck trying to print anything out from here.
And you can say that as sweetly as you would like, and the go to hell eye roll does not change.
I think she hung up on me when I told her that, I believe.
Yeah. I get it. And there's no correct words. There's no correct tone for it. And so you just, if you get into that field, I think you've got to take a hard line out and just treat people like idiots.
Well,
don't do that to your wives, gentlemen.
On behalf of all the IT people that were helping out this morning, I will say this: the CrowdStrike fix was a little more difficult than just turning it off and turning it back on, but ultimately getting around the problem wasn't that hard. It was very tedious. It was an issue of being just kind of a hard thing to get to, as opposed to a hard fix to make.
I picture some guy in a massive room of servers somewhere who literally went and unplugged the main power source and plugged it back in to fix everything. That's what's in my head of how this was all solved. So way to go, that guy. We're back on the air and back in the air, I hope, for our airplanes and all that stuff. Anyway, hope you survived it this morning. We're here, so we did. Thanks to everybody who was involved in fixing that problem. We're going to come back. Connor Frankamp, TBT coming Saturday. He'll join the program next. Don't go away.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Sports Daily on KFH. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor with you on this Friday. It is Friday. We're getting ready to go into the weekend, and we are getting ready to talk some basketball. Basketball coverage on KFH presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile And you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Welcome into the program right now, Connor Frankamp of the Aftershocks, former Wichita State Shocker, ready to take on another TBT and try to play for $1 million. Connor, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
We're good, man. How's everything going? I know you don't get a lot of, run and look at in time to practice, but it's a lot of continuity for you guys. How's the team looking this year?
We're honestly looking pretty good. I think this is one of our best years, that we've looked before our first game. So obviously that can change when the actual game starts. But right now, I feel like we're looking pretty good, and we're kind of meshing together pretty well.
So it's you, it's Mark. It's the same cast of characters. What do you think it is? You guys have begun to find a lot of success in the recent years. What do you think it is about this tournament that continuity seems to be such a big factor? It's why we see some of these teams we've never heard of, full of players we've never heard of, find success. It's got to be that continuity. Why is that, do you think?
I think guys just can complement each other well on the court. I know Marcus and I played together at WSU, and then obviously Richard played with us, and I think us here together have always played well together. And then I think, those other teams find guys who play well together, maybe have played together overseas or something like that, and they're able to just gel, pretty easily.
What do you think of the other teams? What do you think of KU and K-State? I know Mark had a little trash talk, and I loved it, about KU being scared to play Wichita State, so maybe you'd see them. Their rosters, I mean, you got a team out there with Frank Mason and Thomas Robinson on it. A lot of those guys. It looks like they're starting to bring it a little bit at this thing.
Yeah, they are. I was talking to Zach just yesterday about how good the teams are all around the tournament. It seems like this year the teams might be the best year for all the teams overall. KU's good, like you said. They have a really good roster, so I'm sure they'll make some noise. And K-State's good too. So we just want to focus on one game at a time, because in this tournament, you can get beat pretty much any game you play. So I think it's important for us just to focus on the first game. And if we happen to play K-State or get to KU, whatever it may be, then we'll be ready for that too.
Connor Frankamp joining us, former Shocker great, Aftershocks now. And the Elam ending is a big part of this. For folks that have watched TBT, they know all about the Elam ending. I think one of the big reasons I've fallen in love with this tournament is the Elam ending. I mean, I'm crazy enough to say I wish it was across the board. I wish that was how we ended all basketball games. That might be a little much, but I don't. I'm not even kidding. I think that's how much it adds to the game. How have you taken to the Elam ending? I know you've had some big moments in it.
Right. I think it's really cool. I think it's it's obviously different from any other basketball, and especially those last once the Elam starts, it gets pretty tight and pretty pressure filled. So I enjoy it. It's something different, and I think for the summertime, especially for the tournament, it's a perfect way to end the game.
It's better than watching guys foul and shoot free throws.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So you guys are there. Are any of the new players or any of the players Shocker fans don't know about? Do you guys expect to be a big part of things? I know you guys fill out the roster a little bit with some players that you guys probably know from the international time and all that stuff. Anybody else that Shocker fans may not know that they need to watch for?
We got Jeremiah Martin this year. He played at Memphis back when we were in college, and he played for the Memphis alumni team last year. He's really good. He's a lefty. He had a really good year in Russia this year. I was actually just reading an article about how he had 37 against Wichita State when he was at Memphis, I think, his senior year. So he's a really good player. I think he's going to help us out a lot. I'm excited to play next year for sure. Then we have a big guy named Jabari who's going to help us out a lot. So, yeah, we have some new guys, I think, that will definitely help us. So yeah, they should be excited to watch those guys too.
If you think back, and what is this, your fourth or fifth year in this thing? If you think back to that first time that you decide, when you decide, did you ever imagine that it would be this yearly tradition now with the kind of, or even that you would have interest in being involved? I mean, I know there's $1 million on the line, but other than that, I mean, I know it's fun. It's fun. Did you ever see that when you first heard about this and were approached about playing?
I guess I never realized how big it was going to be. It seems like it gets bigger and bigger every single year. And obviously with me being from Wichita, it's really nice that I can just play in my hometown. I don't have to travel anywhere, and be gone for 2 weeks of the summer, since that's kind of such a special time for everybody during the off season. But it's always fun to play in front of the fans, and then to reunite with the guys and hang out with them during the week. So for me, there's not really any negatives to it, but it's really good to see how big the tournament's growing, and then we're obviously thankful to be able to host and have our home fans at our games.
Connor Frankamp joining us, Aftershocks, after his time at Wichita State. Where are you at now, Connor, in your non-TBT time? What's basketball life look like for you?
I was in Spain this last year. I have not signed for next year yet, kind of waiting a little bit. I'll probably sign here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then start preparing for that. For my next season, it'll be my 6th season pro this next year. So I've been at it for a while now.
And all good in that space. I mean, are you able to choose kind of where you want to play? And I don't know how the international, is it free agency when you go through this? I know you've spent time in a lot of different countries, but do you have a preference on where you play? How do you make the pick when you're playing internationally?
Well, my agent will take care of all the offers and everything for me, and then he'll present those offers, and we'll go over them and kind of pick which is the best for me and where I want to go. I was in Russia when the war started. That was the only place I've signed a 2-year deal at, but I was only there for 6 months because of war, so we obviously had to go back home. But every year, other than that, I've signed a 1-year contract. So it's kind of fun moving around and getting to see different parts of the world.
Is that terrifying as we would think it might be to be there when that happens and then to have to react to it? We are pretty fortunate here that we've never dealt with something like that. But what's going through your head when you hear war on your doorstep right where you are, and especially when you're not from there?
Right. It was pretty crazy, but the team did a great job of getting us back home and organizing us to get back home as soon as we possibly could. So I think I got home about a week before it got, too crazy over there, but the team did a great job of helping us get back and everything. And so I wasn't actually there for any of the big things or anything.
Yeah, I remember that. I'd forgotten that you were over there for that. Let's talk Shockers for just a minute, Connor. How much have you been able to follow now this next era, the Paul Mills era of what's going on? I'm sure you've had time to, just in the last few days, to spend around some of the new players, but what is your pulse check on the program as we head into year 2 of Paul Mills?
I got to watch a few of their games last year. Obviously, it's hard with the time difference overseas. So on the weekends, I would check in and watch some of their games. I think Paul Mills will do a great job. We met with him on Tuesday, I think. Went to watch him practice, and he has some of his guys in now. So I'm excited for this next year, and I think he's going to do a great job and for sure get the program back to where it was.
Is that the sense from all the guys you talk about? It seems like everybody's pretty optimistic about the long-term direction. Is there a good alumni buzz happening right now?
Yeah, I think there is. I think everybody's really high on Paul, and I think they should be. He's a great guy, great coach. So I think everyone's really excited to see what he can do and take the program back up to where it was.
All right. Well, Aftershocks, you guys will go tomorrow at noon here locally. Correct. That game will be on FS1. And then you've got Purple Rain right after you at 2. That game also televised on FS2. And then the other 2 get to the streams. You get a game before then. KU, the Mass Street team, is supposed to play starting at 7. I would tell people that they do stick pretty close to the schedule on these. If you're going out to watch these games, they don't tend to linger very long with the Elam ending. But Midtown Prestige, I don't know if you can scout them, but we like your chances. $1 million on the line. Let's see if you guys can't get those final couple wins here and get that thing taken care of this year.
Yeah, we've been close before, and hopefully this can be the year that we can finally get it done. So I think we're all excited to get going for sure.
And hopefully everybody stays healthy, Connor. We appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
There goes Connor Frankamp, the Aftershocks, former Shocker great, of course, joining the program here just ahead of the TBT. Here we go again with the TBT. I'm telling you, man, the Elam ending, for me, if you haven't seen it, I wish I'm not even like, that's not even a joke. And I say it all the time. This time, like, I wish they would do that across basketball. So much better than free throws at the end of the game. Just watch a game. They almost all are exciting at the ending. I mean, they are. You basically have to hit a game-winning shot. mean, that's the theory of it. Every game ends on a game-winning shot.
Even
great.
a game that's a blowout does have to end on a game-winning shot.
It has to end on a game-winning shot. So
it doesn't just end when time runs out. It doesn't end when people are shooting endless free throws. Great.
And you don't really see blowouts very often.
Nope.
You just like it's fantastic. I can't wait. I love this year's tournament. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll start tomorrow at noon. K-State at 2. KU at 7. Here we go. Should be fun. $1 million on the line. Hope the crowd's big out there for them. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get into Royals. We'll get into all the things as we head into the weekend. We return on Sports Daily.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, our thanks to Connor Frankamp for stopping by for just a few minutes there ahead of their game tomorrow. Just a little more than 24 hours away, TBT. Aftershocks get into round one, K-State right after them. If they both win, we'd get a head-to-head, which would be awesome. And then if you can get all the way through, you'd get Wichita State KU. They'd each have to win 2 games, or K-State KU in that regional final. So really looking forward to the TBT, looking forward to the Elam ending being back. It's going to be a lot of fun. It always is. And we'll be watching. And I brought it up. The same thing I bring up every year. The Elam ending is better. It's better across basketball. It just is. We're going to see the shot clock in high school to some degree this year, so that will certainly help. But you get an exciting ending, almost guaranteed. And we were joking. We were just kind of commenting before the break. Like you have to have a game-winning shot in every single game that's played. I know people think I'm some wacky kook, but just watch the games and tell me that's not a better way to end a basketball game than fouling and shooting free throws. When your in-game strategy is, should we foul them before they can take a shot so they can only take 2 free? No, go hit a shot to win the game. Just watch it. Before you think that sounds, just watch the end of the game and tell me that's not a more pure way to end a basketball game, and see what you think. But it'll be there on full display. Charles Koch Arena should be a lot of fun. Welcome back into Sports Daily, by the way. We appreciate Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up at the studios. Jad, how many cups of Prairie Fire did you rip through this morning as the world was melting down? There for a couple hours.
I'll tell you this: more than normal, very much more than normal. We do appreciate Prairie Fire.
Yeah, it was that kind of morning. It's been that kind of morning for about 8 weeks every day in our house. I think we're light at the end of the tunnel. I think above me right now, Tommy, are the final stages. Other than me hanging a TV, I bit the bullet on that TV.
Did you really? Did you buy it?
I
Have you gotten
did
it yet?
because couple of reasons. I did. I have not hung it yet because I'm just letting it sit there and stew while I think about. I have hung. I think I've sent out, like, I hung 2 TVs in my basement side to side, and I did it, and they're even, and it's awesome, and it's the greatest achievement of my handy skills of my lifetime. Now I have a much fancier TV that has to hang above the fireplace, and I am tasked with this, and I'm just sort of staring at the box. So I have not hung it yet.
It's one of those frame TVs, right? You've got you can do
TV,
the artwork.
Yeah.
I think it would be incredible. Because I know that you can choose what kind of artwork you want to be in that frame when you're not watching TV. You ought to do dogs playing poker, or Washington crossing the Delaware, or the Last Supper, or just like ridiculous things like that. You ought to have it on rotation.
So and I think you can do like family pictures. That's what I'm curious to see too. And I know people think that sounds like, well, why don't you just put a pic? And that's what's been up there. I'm telling you, the idea came up as we were discussing like all the things and trying to come up with a budget, and that came up, and then I was like, man, those are expensive, because I'm very much just give me a big TV, but it can be a big, like $250 TV. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be able to connect the things I want to, because here's a little hint for you. A lot of what's broadcast isn't to the quality of what you're being sold in your TV. Just FYI. Like, don't, just be careful. Sometimes you can't really get what you're, unless you're like watching a DVD or playing a video game. But anyway, so I'm like, okay. And then I looked at and they're kind of expensive. And I'm like, well, no, I can't do that. So fast forward, we're randomly at a friend's house and they had one in their living room. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is incredible. Like, it was unreal. And so then I look it back up and I'm like, okay, let's look at these things. Reviews are off the charts. Everything else people love. So we'll see. Hopefully it's there. It went like the double discount, from all the online competitions happening right now. I did not go to the place that I hate going, which is Amazon. I went to a different place and found them matching it.
Good.
So I was able to do that, which always makes me feel better for no good reason. It just does. But yeah, so we'll that'll be like the last piece. They're up there doing their decorations right now above me. And that definitely goes above my pay grade as well. And that'll be done. And I can stop, whining here about 8 weeks of 3 young kids in the summertime about to lose it. You could probably, Jad, could you hear my son in that last little segment?
A little bit.
Going nuts. He apparently cracked his head on the corner of a table. Not like cracked it open, but like busted his head. And I'm just like, what are we going to do right now? Hang on, Connor. I've got to run.
Got to put you on pause.
Got to go see if we need stitches here. But we got that taken.
So
But I'm ready.
Can you read Swedish yet? That's the thing I'm asking. From all the IKEA.
No. You're putting
no.
furniture together, right?
I have been building furniture every night. I don't think any of it has come from there, but it's the same concept.
Right.
I hope I never see another Allen wrench in my life.
I hate
I'll say
Allen
that.
wrenches. That's the biggest conspiracy I think on the planet. Are all like what kind of deal do the Allen wrench makers have with every single furniture company in America?
Well, John Allen Wrench was like a great industrialist who I think has his hands in all of these companies. I'm making this up. I don't know anything about Allen wrenches other than their. And do you know how many people after I've said that have been like, "Oh, I have like an Allen wrench drill bit. You could have just used that." And I'm like, you know what? That's revisionist history because we're done now. Literally like 8 weeks of this, but we're good. We're almost there. We're almost to the finish line. It'll be fun. We'll watch football this fall. We'll have a sports daily party. Speaking of football, Tommy, Greg Sankey talked at SEC Media Days again, and we talked a little bit about this with Fitz. So he did a one-on-one with CBS, and I do think it's interesting. He's totally full of it, right? Like I love how he gets asked questions about this, and he has this tone of like just this disruption that's happening. And like, you started this, like you definitely started this a long time ago when you went and you yanked Missouri and Texas A&M. Like, this is your fault. All of this is your fault. Was he there when they did that? Either way, he was certainly when Texas and Oklahoma left. And it's like, you're the reason any of this is happening. You want to change the rules. You want the SEC position. Like, don't play holier than thou when everybody's having to react to the things that you're doing in this sport. That bugs me about him. And granted, he's good at what he does for a living. So a couple of questions came up to him from CBS Sports. The first one was about the naming rights. And like, okay, he has said like he's gotten angry letters just at the thought or the idea of this. And he's like, we would just never. We have so much tradition and so much, history. We just would never like that. Our people mark my words. Big 12 will get it done. They'll make a whole bunch of money. And within a couple of years, guess who else is going to have a title sponsor to the conference? Because listen, like, I don't care what Hillbilly Joe in Backwater, Kentucky has to say about that particular thing and how it would ruin the tradition of everything. If I am the University of Kentucky and I see that the Big 12 schools are taking in, let's say it's $10, $15 million a year, and you're telling me I got to pay players now, and you're not doing that, I'll be at your door with a pitchfork saying, what the hell are you doing? Why is that money left on the table? We got to pay these players. So all of that grandstanding from Sankey is getting on my nerves. Like, don't talk down to the leagues across the country because they might be coming up with naming rights deals. Like, you're not going to do, he would do it immediately if he could, and will, mark my words.
But none of that is surprising, though. I mean, this is the same conference that, stands up on this pedestal all the time with the phrase, it just means more, like that's the SEC, like the tradition and like all of that. So and whether or not like it's crap, that they're not willing to, budge on that, because this is the future of financially, viable conferences and things like that, right?
Yeah, it's just a lie.
But
it's
it's virtue signaling, at its best. It just means more, and the tradition is, so important, and the SEC matters, and like we're not going to sell it. No, you'll sell out. You will. You may not be the first one to sell out, but when you start to see, maybe it's the conference like the Big 12 cashing that check, you'll find a way to monetize that. You absolutely will.
There's just so much tradition in our schools, and so we're going to go add 2 brand names that have never had any association with our schools whatsoever, and we're going to take Texas A&M and Missouri, and we're going to. But man, the Southeastern Conference. By the way, nobody on the planet thinks of Texas and Oklahoma as being a part of the southeastern part of the country. Nobody does. And people that aren't from Texas might say Texas is the South. It is not. It is Texas. I'm just take it from somebody who is from there. You go to the Deep South, you go to Texas. They're 2 very different places with 2 very different cultures. So none of that, like all that stuff is fine to say now. And I feel like it's almost like it's a political rally. He just says whatever he needs to say to appease his base and does something completely different than what he says, because that's all he does. And look, I do think he's very good at his job. Don't get me wrong. But like, we can't just sit here and try to dog on everybody else. So then he was asked about sponsorship patches on uniforms. And again, taking a swipe. Well, I think we should get together on that and come on. No, just do what you do. You do your thing and let Brett Yormark come in and make his schools a whole bunch of money. And then let's just bring this conversation back on tape when you ultimately do the same thing down the road.
Right.
Because the elephant in the room is everybody's getting the pantsuit off of them. You're going to have to pay the players. Where's that money going to come from? You've got like 2 avenues for new money, new TV deals, which they won't have one of those for a while, and new sponsorship opportunities. And so get over it. Like, or just stop lying. Be like, yeah, we're not doing that right now. Maybe it's something we'll think about down the road. That's all you got to say. Or, yeah, we're just not doing that right now. But it's always like a little swipe or a little jab.
I remember.
It's.
I remember when Major League Baseball added the sponsor patches, and the NBA did it, and I remember first seeing those uniforms and being like, man, I don't really like that. I don't really love the way that looks. But you know what? That was one time. Like one time, I'm like, I don't really care for that. But it's going to happen. I can't fight it. And you know what? It hasn't changed my viewing experience whatsoever. No. It hasn't made me stop watching the sport. It hasn't made me boycott it. I'm not less of a fan because there's a sponsor patch on a uniform. And it was literally the very first time I saw it. I'm like, nah, if I had to choose, I probably, for aesthetics, probably wouldn't do that. But from a money perspective, yeah, it makes sense. They're going to do it. It is what it is. I'm going to keep watching. The bottom line, same thing would happen in college football or college basketball, regardless of the conference. I'm not going to not watch it because there's a sponsorship patch on a uniform.
There's always been a sponsorship patch on the uniform, whether it's a Nike swoosh or an Under Armour thing or an Adidas thing. Like, there's always been a sponsorship on the uniform. So let's not pretend like there hasn't been. And I just think we have to be very careful at what we want to draw our lines in the sand for when it comes to college athletics specifically, because schools are going to have to create new ways to generate revenue with the way the landscape is changing. So what's more important to you as a fan? That things can continue and the schools can continue to operate, or that programs get cut, right? Like, so just like if we want to sit on a rocking chair, and you and I do that plenty of things. I don't think we do it on this particular landscape with college sports and the changes that are happening. But if you want to sit there and get mad because of, because on a piece of paper it's called the Dr. Pepper Big 12, when it doesn't change anything for you, doesn't do anything. Or Kansas State has a seed company on the sleeve of their jersey. Just remember that there is a lot of money that's going to need to be generated if everything's going to operate the same, because the players are finally going to get their piece of that, which they never have before. And until we get to that point, there's going to be lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit until we can get there. And new revenue streams are going to be important to keep the foundation of college. It doesn't change the foundation of college sport. It keeps the foundation of college sports. It allows these schools to do some other things. Keep that in mind. And Greg Sankey, you're the reason all this is happening. Literally, the reason all this is happening. So back off of your we're holier than thou here in the SEC that, well, the SEC plus a school from Missouri and a couple of schools from Texas and one from Oklahoma. And, all the tradition, though, is here. We haven't changed our logo. Look at how old our logo is. We're very proud of that.
It's funny, the different things that they, want to draw. You mentioned drawing a line in the sand, and saying we're not okay with this. I mean, the SEC has not had a problem with sending a representative to play in the All-State Sugar Bowl. They haven't had an issue, sending a team to go play in the Capital One Orange Bowl. You know what I mean? Or the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Like those things, that's not, apparently that's fine for the SEC. We're not going to draw a line in the sand and say, well, our schools or our conference, it just means more in the tradition. So we're only going to play. We only care about playing in a bowl game that doesn't have a title sponsor because we feel like it tarnishes the legacy of our brands playing in those bowls. That's ridiculous. They clearly are fine with that. And they're not even the ones that, they don't get the sponsorship dollars off of that. The bowl game does. I don't understand why that is like, some things are okay, some things are not okay. And it'd be one thing if Greg Sankey, to your point, was trying to be more just a traditionalist and say it's only, but it's not just that. It's that he wants to, like you said, take swipes at other conferences like the Big 12. It's like, dude, like stay in your lane. Stay in your lane and stop virtue signaling, because it doesn't matter. And you're not looking any better at the end of the day when you want to try to point those fingers.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. Everybody's trying to survive, and it's fine. It would be one thing if the SEC really, really did hold on to it, but they're not going to. They're going to take every opportunity to make money that they're going to every single time. They just will. And they should. They should. Look, Greg Sankey is very important in all of this. And he did say, I should be fair, that he brought up, like when I was at the Southland, I did actually try to come up with some naming rights 25 years ago. It didn't work out. Again, I get it. The SEC, this is why I want this conversation we're having right now, Tommy, is why I would love to see Texas and Oklahoma go in there and just destroy the SEC. I root for them greatly, because I'm sick of it. Like, I'm sick of the attitude, and they've earned the right to have this attitude, by the way. I'm not ignorant. They've had the best teams. They have the best teams. Duh. But it bugs me, and I want to see it disrupted badly. And hopefully it will be. It'll be, look, it will. They're going to have to prove it more now than they ever have before, and they may continue to prove it. They're still going to have the best teams. They're still going to have the most representatives. They still should. But they're going to have to get on the field and prove it more than they've had to in the past with 12 teams in there. And I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait for the evening of things to happen. All right, we'll come back. We got hour number 2 coming up. We're going to get into the Royals second half here. We're going to do some giveaways. Let's set up an HTO giveaway for you right now. If you want to win some free iced tea, more than 20 flavors from HTO, East Wichita, West Wichita, or in Derby, all you have to do right now is text the keyword T, TEA, to the short code 20357. We'll get you a free iced tea. We'll also get you a free coffee, which can be iced, hot, whatever it is, all the free rain offerings there at HTO. One of each of those. You can enter the contest once a day. Again, it's T to 20357. Message and data rates apply. So we'll set that one up now. We'll have an NBC World Series ticket giveaway coming up in the second hour. It will be our final one of those, so make sure you're getting your opportunity to win there. This portion of the program, as we wrap up hour number 1, brought to you by Crestview Country Club. Get out there, play a little golf, get out there, check out the restaurant, the bar, give them a call. They'll give you a tour of everything. And then you can see what we're talking about when we say we love it out there and we're having fun. I did go out for just a brief minute the other night. It's mosquito season again. I guess the mosquitoes didn't like the heat either, Tommy. Like I got just annihilated. God, I hate mosquitoes. Are you a mosquitoes attack you at full strength, or do they generally stay away from you?
They stay away. I mean, every once in a while I'll get a bite here and there, but no, it's not really anything that I deal with.
My wife, one of my kids are like you. Myself and two of our other two kids are like me. Like if it is a mosquito night, I could go outside for 10 minutes and I would have more than 20 bites. And like I got them everywhere. And I don't even know where they came from. But anyway, go out and check out Crestview. Put on some bug spray. But you can check out what we love about it. In hour number 2, Royals, second half. We'll talk about the schedule coming up. We'll get you more prepared for this TBT coming up as well. Hit some other headlines around the sports world as training camps are in session, including the Chiefs. Did we learn anything from, what would that be, day 3 of training camp? We'll go over it all in the second hour. It's Sports Daily. It's Albrecht and Caster. Don't go away.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrocht and Tommy Kester.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Sports Daily here on KFH. Glad to be with you on a Friday. Glad to be getting ready for baseball back in action here as we get the Royals back in action today against the White Sox. We say these things all the time. These are games that they should dominate. They get the next 9 games at home. Okay, next 9 games at home against teams that aren't above 500. These are the times that if they're going to stay in a playoff race, if they're going to maximize the potential before the trade deadline, even if you want to look at it even more in the micro, they become very important. They're huge favorites tonight, like minus 205, as big as you get against the White Sox. But the White Sox are going to, and they should be. You're right. They totally should be. And so we'll see. But they have in these series lately where you're like, okay, they should be. They lost 2 or 3 in Colorado, right? They couldn't get the sweep against Miami at home. They did get 2 or 3. They dropped 3 against Texas on the road. They dropped 2 of 3 against Oakland on the road. They should be, but they haven't always been. You know what I mean? Like we keep looking at these opportunities and we keep feeling like they left meat on the bone. And they can't do that now. Can't do that. They need to get it done the right way. And look, sweep the White Sox. Is that so much to ask? Could you just sweep the White Sox, please?
You know, the White Sox, definitely are the worst team in baseball. They're on pace to be one of the worst teams of all time. They were swept by Pittsburgh going into the All-Star break. They've lost 4 games in a row. They have not won a series in almost a month. It's been 3+ weeks since they last won a series, and that was against the Rockies at home. The Royals are 6-1 in the series this year against the White Sox. That's a huge reason why the Royals were able to jump out to as good of a start as they had at the beginning of the year, because they started off playing a lot of games against Chicago to kick off the season, and that really helped propel Kansas City. So no, I don't think it's too much to ask that the Royals sweep this series at home. It's a 3-game weekend set at the K, coming off of an All-Star break where you had 4 representatives from the team that were there in the All-Star game. And the rest of the team got a significant amount of rest. You get to kind of reset your rotation and kind of figure out exactly, how you want to roll forward. And so, Michael Wacha is going to get the start tonight. And, he has, I think, pitched pretty well since coming off the IL a few weeks ago. So I do think that at least in this opener, I understand why the Royals are favored like they are. And they should get the, I don't want to say easy victory, but it should be a fairly comfortable game if Michael Wacha pitches the way that we've seen him pitch in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
I think he will. I think Wacha is I think as we come down the stretch, they're going to lean into Wacha a lot. I think that this is where that veteran experience, this is where that, well, it really is that as much as anything else. This is why you paid him in free agency. These moments now are when, and especially when we're seeing Lugo just get a little shakier, like has not been quite as strong there. Wacha has an opportunity to sort of be a stabilizer. And we didn't, you wouldn't have thought that at one point in the season, but man, he's been steady, right? He's been consistent. And honestly, as consistent as any pitcher in the rotation lately. And you love seeing that because they kind of need it right now. I mean, they have to allow themselves the ability for these pitchers to sort of work through it, but maybe he already worked through his.
Yeah, and I think that that's part of it. I mean, with Wacha, there was quite a bit of concern, I think, at the beginning of the season because of the way that he came out of the gate. And of course, my thought was, well, shoot, they bring him in the off season, and it really, wasn't. He didn't live up to expectations, I think, through the first 5 or 6 starts of the season for him. I remember even thinking like, is this somebody that could potentially be demoted, or do you try to make a change and figure out something else in the starting rotation? And it's funny because, really seems like that turning point for Wacha was when he did get injured and spent a little bit of time on the injured list. He came back in full force and, has pitched really well. He's won his last 2 starts. The Royals have won both of those games by multiple runs. And so knowing that, I mean, I think that you've got kind of that momentum growing, I think, for Michael Wacha. From a betting perspective tonight, in tonight's game, you mentioned the odds. I mean, the Royals are heavy favorites to a point to where, I wouldn't recommend betting the money line because you're not getting good odds on the Royals winning, on hitting that bet. You're not getting good odds. So I would look at the run line. And the reason I would look at the run line is because the Royals have the second best record in Major League Baseball as run line.
I'm on the run line.
Like that's the run line bet. They have the second best record in Major League Baseball as run line favorites at home. Meanwhile, the White Sox have the second worst record in Major League Baseball as run line underdogs on the road. So both of those things combined, tell me that, betting the run line would be kind of a smart bet, I think, for tonight's game.
It's what I'm on currently. That's what I'm on because it's not worth betting it, on the money line because you're getting -2 to 1. Like you'd have to bet $1 to win 50 cents. Like that, I'll never take.
Not a good bet.
Not singularly. Now, if you wanted to put that into like a little same game parlay or something, that's fine. But I'll just take. I'm comfortable with the run line against that team. I think, and we'll see. And run lines are hard in baseball. You get good odds for a reason, right? Like you get good odds when you take the run line for a good reason. Baseball is of the sports. It's the most unpredictable individually in individual games as to what might happen because you could have Mike Wacha have a great game for 98% of the pitches he throws.
Yeah.
And he gives up one mistake could be a 3-run home run. And then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? So like, I almost never take the run line unless you get into a situation like this and it's against a really bad team.
So Chris Flexen is pitching for the White Sox tonight. His record is 2-8, I believe, on the season. He's got an ERA almost to 5. And this is really an interesting stat from oddshark.com. Chris Flexen is the least profitable pitcher in Major League Baseball this year. So if you were to put $100 on the money line for the White Sox every time Chris Flexen pitched, you would be down $1,200 on the season. So, the odds are not there. It's not the right play at all to do anything with Chris Flexen or the White Sox. And that's why I think from a number one, that's why the odds I think are so heavy for the Royals as favorites on the money line. But that's why against the spread, I do think that there is still, a pretty solid play there.
Yeah. And then we look ahead. So that's tonight. You look ahead at the series and you've got Singer, you've got Lugo. These are these are three of the four. And really you feel good about any of them. It's a sweep, Tommy. It needs to be a sweep. You're at home. You're playing the White Sox. Then you get Arizona. Needs to be 2 or 3. Then you get to the Cubs. Needs to be 2 or 3. Like they should come out of this 9-game stretch 7-2. If they're humming and playing the way they need to play, they should come out of this stretch at 7-2.
And look, I was concerned after Seth Lugo kind of got rocked. I mean, let's be honest. He kind of got rocked in his final start before the All-Star break and kind of pitched his way out of being a starter in the All-Star game for the American League. And I was a little bit concerned, like, okay, like that was probably the worst outing, maybe one of the top 2 worst outings for Seth Lugo on the season. It was very unlike him to pitch the way that he did against Boston. And I was a little bit concerned. The good thing, the silver lining, I think going in to his start this weekend is that he gets to bounce back with the White Sox. Like that helps, I think, a little bit. In my mind, that would maybe ease the pressure slightly. Like, okay, well, I'm playing a team that's not very good. And so I can bounce back, in, I think, a fairly easy way from a disappointing outing before the All-Star break. So I do like that. I am glad that he gets the ball in this series this weekend against Chicago, because I do think that that's a prime opportunity for Lugo to sort of set the tone back for the second half of the season.
It's what are the chances he does not? What are the chances that he really struggles in the second half and comes down to earth? And it's way too early to wonder about that. But what do you think those chances are?
I think that I think it's in the realm of possibility that he comes back to earth a little bit. But I don't think that I would be surprised if we see him fall off a cliff in the second half of the season, just because the body of work has shown, throughout the first however many starts, 20 starts or whatever that he's had, that he's been very, very good. And the ERA is low and the win total is high and the whip is low. And, all of those different indicators, they're there, so him having the success that he had in the first part of the season into the All-Star break, it's a larger body of work. And so to me, it does, I think, make it less likely that he completely falls off a cliff. But sure, I do think it's in the realm of possibility that he could maybe come back down to earth a little bit. I think you'd be hard-pressed to expect him to do exactly what he's done over the course of the first 20 starts for the second 12, to end the season. You know what I mean? Like, I think we're going to see a slightly higher.
No,
ERA.
I do. I think I don't disagree. And that's what
I think he might come back down to earth a little bit.
It's what has me a little bit just curious we know that the Royals have to be better down the stretch than they have been so far. We know that. We've done the math. They have to be better. So if they have to be better, and if Lugo is not as strong as he was, how difficult is that? What else would have to happen in that scenario? You know what I mean? Okay, so if you told me Lugo's not going to be as good, and I told you the Royals have to be better than they were, up to this point, okay, then what here? Now what are we looking at? You got to have Waka be better. You got for sure. He would have to step it up. Reagans would have to become consistent. Brady Singer would have to become consistent. And the other thing you'd have to have is a step up from the offense and a step up from the bullpen, because you gotta if you don't have him pitching at that level, you're going to have to be better in other places. Insert trade deadline here.
Well, I almost have a different perspective on this and disagree a little bit, because I don't know if you need all of those things to make up for what could potentially be not as of a productive Seth Lugo for the remainder of the season. I think the key to this is when Cole Reagans starts games, that the Royals continue to give him run support and he gets wins when he's on the mound. I think it's as simple as that, because Seth Lugo and Cole Reagans are your two aces. They were your two pitching representatives in the All-Star game. Cole Reagans has pitched really well, but the Royals haven't won a lot of the games that Reagans has pitched in. You know, Reagans has a record of 6-6 right now, where Lugo has 11 wins on the year. So there's a major difference in the results of games so far this season that Lugo has pitched in versus games that Reagans has pitched in. Is that a coincidence? Maybe, a little bit. But if you're going to say, okay, well, there might be a possibility, and I don't disagree with this, that Lugo maybe doesn't quite have the win-loss differential for his remaining starts that he had.
Well, I don't mean win-loss.
Then
I mean his effectiveness.
Then I think that you can swap that with, hey, Cole Reagans just has to have, he's got to get that run support so he can actually, the wins can get on his record, like to make up the difference in that. So I'm not even sure that it's an effectiveness question. I think it might even just be, okay, if Lugo may not be quite as effective down the stretch, then Reagans, while he's pitching, he's got to be just as good, and the Royals have to score runs. I think it's as simple as that.
The Royals have scored runs. They just have to be more consistent in scoring runs. It really does come into this streaky nature of the team. And look, I am still bullish on the Royals. I still absolutely like their chances to make the postseason, but I'm trying to, and it really is this, it's two things right now. It's this particular stretch of baseball games where they will have opportunities to win based on the competition. And it is trying to be predictive into the rest of the season. I think, for instance, Renfroe and Melendez, when he ultimately comes back off the IL, I think they'll be better than they were in the first half. That will help the offense. I think it's pretty likely Lugo won't be as good as he was. And again, I'm saying first half is like pre-All-Star break. Okay. Can those things offset each other? I don't know about Brady Singer. Do you think Brady Singer can replicate what he did pre-All-Star break? I think that's relatively unlikely based on what we've seen throughout his career. Okay, so there's another one. Basically, it's hard to imagine the starting pitching remaining as good as it was. That's we've talked about them as like top to bottom, maybe the best in the American League. So I don't think that's unreasonable to say there's a slight step back. And they can still be really good. It can still be the strength of this team, but they need everything else to step it up. So can that happen? I think it can. I think the bullpen's going to get better because they just added to the bullpen, right? And that gives you another arm. That's going to help. I don't know about the offense yet. I do think Renfroe and Melendez will be better than they were, so that'll help. But I still think they've got to add pieces. And then, other teams are going through this too. But these are the things that you look at and you say, how likely is it that they can reach the postseason? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I'm not saying they shouldn't try. I think they should go all in. If you listen here, you know that. I think they should absolutely go all in and try to do it. But it will be tough. And it will be especially tough if you cannot beat bad teams. And they play a lot of them in a row right out of the gates here. That's why this feels large. And we try to break this season up into chunks. And we may be, Tommy, wasting our breath to say, win a bunch of these, keep your head above water against the really good teams, because it kind of hasn't mattered really this year, has it? Who they're playing. When they're hot, they beat everybody. And when they're not, they can't beat anybody. And that's this. I mean, if you go back, if we pull it and we go all the way back, when they came out of the gates, Tommy, and got off to a good start. And they didn't, the first two series were not good. But after that, when they really heated up, they were beating up on Houston. They had a great series. Toronto's not quite as good as we thought, but they beat up on them a little bit. They took 2 or 3 against Milwaukee. Then they got to a stretch where they took 2 or 3 against Tampa. They got beat up a little bit. They get hot. They win 2 or 3 against Seattle. When they're not hot, they lose series to Oakland. So it's not been as easy as the opponent, but it kind of needs to be the rest of the way. Kind of needs to be. Who you play matters right now. You can't. They're not going to find enough wins to stay in it if they cannot beat up on these bad teams. There won't be enough wins out there, I'm afraid. Even as streaky as they are, you have to be able to win these games.
I think
if you're going to make the playoffs.
Consistency matters. And that's been kind of the name of the game for the Royals this season that they've really been chasing. I think that's been the major thing, whether we're talking at, an individual player level, because there's been wild inconsistency from, several of the pieces that they need to be consistent. The top of the lineup and Hunter Renfroe and, some other MJ Melendez, some other pieces that have just, when they've been good, they've been really good. And when they've been bad, they've been really bad. Really consistently, the four guys that have been the consistent pieces of this team, they were all-stars. Everybody else, they've been pretty wildly inconsistent. And
the all-stars plus Walker. I think Walker's been consistent. He had
Walker
a very
started off
brief.
really, really bad. He started off really bad.
He started off okay.
He lost 4 of his 5 first starts. Like he entered the season really poorly, He turned it on. He's been consistent ever since. It hasn't been a roller coaster like everybody else, but it was bad to start, and then it's gotten much better since.
That's fair.
The bullpen has been inconsistent.
Yeah.
And so that's been the name of the game from a individual level, but then from a 30,000-foot view as the team, continues to move forward, is it hasn't, as great as Bobby Witt Jr. is, and Salvi and Seth Lugo's pitched great, and Cole Reagans. I mean, let Cole Reagans be that cautionary tale. He's been extremely consistent, but the Royals haven't won games when he's been pitching because the rest of the team has been inconsistent. So you've got that inconsistency that can potentially drag the rest of the team down.
And it's never enough, right? They think about Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout couldn't even get to the playoffs. Okay, it's never enough to just have a couple superstars in baseball. And the Royals have not been that. It's pretty remarkable the turnaround that they've had, no matter what else happens, right? They've already beat last year's win total. Don't ever forget that. They're already ahead of not just the pace, they're ahead of the win total. I'm optimistic. I think this will go well. I think that they are telling us they're going to be aggressive at the deadline. I think that makes the next 10 days thrilling to watch. And it starts with beating up on bad teams. White Sox happen to be one of them. You and I are both on the run line tonight. We can get more into that as we make our way into hour number 2. You will hear the game tonight on the home of the Royals here, KFH. We've got more things to talk about. Let's take a glance around the NFL when we return. Teams are getting back at it. Certainly the Chiefs have been back at it. A lot of quarterback talk around the league. A lot of people guessing at, who's going to be what, X, Y, Z. Let's take a look at the rookies. We haven't really done that. Not just the rookie, the young quarterbacks right now. And that would include like CJ Stroud. But I do want to look at the rookies. And I'll ask this question because it always sounds crazy, but remember the jumps players have made in their second full season as starters. Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Hurts, all of them in their second season as full starters. All these great quarterbacks took massive leaps. Could we see those young quarterbacks be Super Bowl impacting players? We'll talk about that a little bit when we return. All the attention's been on the old heads here, Aaron Rodgers, etc. What about these young guys? We'll talk about it next. Sports Daily, rolling right on a Friday.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We've been joking about hopefully everybody's survived this. I know we've had, if you're watching us on 12 News Connected there, I'm just going to blame Bill Gates for everything. Isn't that like a popular thing to do in the conspiracy world? Can we just blame, thanks, Bill. This is a Microsoft issue, right? I know everybody's been dealing with it, but it was Microsoft, right?
I'm gonna let you blame. I'm not gonna say bad things about anybody.
Okay.
Let me say this.
Bill might be an Odyssey client, but Bill,
it was a CrowdStrike issue. They have blamed Microsoft.
See?
So
see?
Well, I don't know if they're just, covering themselves or not.
They're
but-
probably who at CrowdStrike can we blame for this? What's that guy's name?
Oh, I have no idea.
Jeff, John.
I saw that
whatever
their stock went down a bunch today.
You think?
Yeah, like a
if
ton.
I will blame whoever that guy is. I mean, I assume never mind. Let me just catch all the jokes that I was about to make and understand that people get their feelings hurt. So I will not make them. Never mind.
The entire 911 system of the state of Oregon went down. I can see a stock price hit for that.
Yeah. I mean, we have grounded airlines, and again, like, man, this is just a reminder of how tethered to these things we are. I mean, I think about this all the time. As everybody gets hacked now, I'm like, what are we going to do when somebody just turns the lights off on us? Because don't you feel like that's what's like that's the way to really, if you really want to mess with Americans, like, just disrupt our insanely busy lives. And we did that recently. It did not go well for us. So hopefully everything's in all seriousness, it looks like things are coming back together. But if you've had any technical glitches today, or if you've experienced those, our apologies, and hopefully everybody's able to get back on track. At least it's almost the weekend. This happens on a Saturday. We probably don't care very much, right? We're just like, whatever. I'll go do something else. But we do have to wrap up the work week that way. Tommy, as we look across the NFL, we're going to, I actually think this time of year is kind of fun. All the wild and crazy, like, rookie quarterback charting and all these things. I actually kind of like it. It gets me excited for football. It gets me excited for fantasy football. This is a fun time of year. Is it reasonable? No, it's totally ridiculous, but it's okay. Like this, we're ready for football, and this is what we do. So as we look at the young quarterbacks, I honestly, and I know there's been attention on it, I don't think we're hyping up CJ Stroud enough. I don't think the hype train is out of control like it should be with him. Best rookie season ever. Look at the pass catchers they have now. Not only do they get, Tank Dell back, but they add Stephon Diggs to the mix there. They add Joe Mixon to the mix there. If their defense is worth anything this year, there is larger than a small part of me that thinks that might be the team to watch in the AFC as a contender to Kansas City. And again, I know that sounds crazy because like, second year quarterback, whatever, we'll see in the playoff. But this is Patrick Mahomes did this, right, in his second year. So did Burrow. So did all these great young players took that giant leap in their second years. And nobody would have said, oh, Patrick Mahomes is ready to win a Super Bowl, but he was. And so who's to say CJ Stroud's not? I mean, they vastly overachieved a year ago. I think there is a real chance, and they're my favorite long shot bet, by the way, just because, and I get that the floor could be a little low because there's some overachievement last year, but when you really look at their offseason and you think about how well he played and how much they added to his repertoire, is there a team that got better offensively? I mean, Houston, Kansas City, there really aren't. I mean, there's not really many teams that got any better than they did on offense, I don't think.
I'm not sure that there's another team in the NFL that got better altogether like the Texans did. I mean, I think that just the overall improvements, because, there's a lot of not just offensive players, but like Daniel Hunter was signed to a contract for the Texans 2-year deal. Will join Will Anderson, to basically make that pass rush that much better for Houston. I'm bullish on them. I was bullish on them last year. I think they absolutely are a team that could make a deep run in the AFC and be a legitimate challenger to Kansas City. And it's not just because of the additions that they made. It's because, of course, CJ Stroud. I mentioned Will Anderson and what he brought in his rookie year. He's going to be, you would think, even better this year in his second year in the league. I mean, he was the defensive rookie of the year a year ago. And so the Texans hit not only with CJ Stroud early in the draft last year, but also with Will Anderson. And oh, by the way, this is the number one reason why I think the Texans are going to be a legitimate challenger in the AFC this year. DeMeco Ryans, I think, is one of the best rising stars in the coaching ranks in the NFL.
We
That
think,
pairing that
right? We think.
the
I
pairing of
agree.
him and CJ Stroud together was awesome. And, yeah, there was a few weeks early in the year where they were still kind of getting their bearings and figuring out how things were going to work. They came on strong in the second half of the season. When you look at that division, I think they are head and shoulders better than anybody else. I think they're better than the Titans by a long shot. I think that they're better than the Colts by a long shot. I think that the Jags, they disappointed a year ago. I don't think that they are going to win the division either. I think it's going to be Houston, and I think that Houston will be a team to be reckoned with in the AFC.
I do too, but don't you also think they could be better, get better, and win the same number of games or fewer?
No,
That's
I think
what's
they're going to
wild
win
about
more.
what
No,
they
I
did.
think they're going to win
No,
more
I
games
do-
than
I
they
do-
did last year.
I do too. How many did they win a year ago? Was it 10?
Yeah, they were right.
I'm going to pull it up real quick. I think that when you
10
look
games.
at,
They were 10-7. That's right.
Yeah, so they were 10-7. I think they could be a much better team and be 10-7 again. Jacksonville will be better. Indianapolis will be better. I think Tennessee will probably be better. Like the AFC, as good as it was last year, there have been a few teams you could see step backs from, but most of the teams are as good or probably a little bit better. So that's what I mean. Like the Texans, it's going to be a weird evaluation year for them, in my opinion, because they could be a much better team, but only win 10 games. Anthony Richardson's back with the Colts. What if he plays a full year? And I don't mean that, and that doesn't really impact what I think they're capable of as far as winning a Super Bowl. I just think it's going to be a little bit strange of an evaluation for them this year. I also think there is a world where they could be the number 2 seed and win like 12 or 13 games.
I don't think they're going to win 10 games or fewer. I mean, you go back to last season.
You think they'll be 11-6?
Yeah, at minimum. I think that's their floor. I really do. And here's the reason why. It's not just because of the acquisitions that we talked about, but you go back to last season for them. They didn't have a winning record until mid-November of last year. That's why I say, like, it took a while to get their bearings, and you had a brand new quarterback and a brand new head coach. And they both first-time quarterback in the league, first-time head coach in the league. They had to kind of figure things out a little bit. They started off the season 0-2, and then they kind of hovered around 500 or under 500 through September, all of October, and the very beginning of November. That sort of growing pains, that learning curve won't be there this season. I think they get out of the gates hot. I think they start off this season above 500 and stay there throughout the duration of the year. I think that they will win 11 games minimum, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's 12 or even 13.
Their win total is 9.5. So you'd be over that. I would be too, but I think there's a reason that they're at 9.5.
Why?
Well,
they're the same. They're the same team as a year ago.
For what I just
better.
said, I know because I think everybody else is getting better. Because I think they played in a division last year where everything went wrong for Jacksonville, where Indianapolis lost their quarterback, and I just think.
But what did any of those teams do this offseason to get demonstrably better? Like Jacksonville didn't. They didn't do anything to really
They got rid of Calvin Ridley. But I also
addition by subtraction, maybe I don't know. But
so I've watched
Indianapolis didn't do anything to add this year. I mean, they're gonna get Anthony Richardson back. But they didn't do anything.
They drafted an early wide receiver. They did things to get better.
And Tennessee, I think, is going to be really bad this year.
Well, they added Calvin Ridley. I don't think Tennessee will be as bad as they were a year ago, but I also don't think they'll be very good.
They don't have Mike Vrabel there. They don't like the. Who are they rolling with the quarterback? Is it?
I don't like Tennessee. Don't misunderstand. I just think that they are different than they were. It's mostly Jacksonville. I find it hard to imagine everything will go as badly for Jacksonville as it did a year ago.
Like, is Will Levis really going to do? Is he going to be able to lead the Titans to a winning record this year? I don't think so.
A winning record? No, not at all. But when Houston plays these teams, there's a chance they'll be better than they were a year ago, especially if Anthony Richardson's there. And I've seen people talk about Jacksonville enough, like smart football people. They had a schematic issue that they could not overcome, that people believe that they can.
So going back to my Will Levis question, will Will Levis make the Titans better than 6
he's
and
one of
11?
the
Because 6 and 11
he's
was
one
their
of the
record
young-
last year.
He's one of the young quarterbacks that I want to hit on here, and I don't know, but what I will say is quarterbacks that are good in this league make their jumps usually in year 2. Just go back and look at all the quarterbacks that you would say are good quarterbacks right now. Go look at any of them and look at what they did in their second years. There's not really a regression that happens. They get better in their second years. So I do think that it will be very interesting to take a look at some of the rest of that group from a year ago and see what they do, right? What does Bryce Young do this year? He's got to be better because he was awful last year. Or it's done. Like if Bryce Young isn't good, then he's not ever going to be probably any good. There are a lot of guys that fit in there. Will Levis is one of them. I think he overachieved from what people thought a year ago. And then you look at the rookie quarterbacks, because this was that quarterback class, right? This is what we see out of all these guys. How many of them, by the way, one other name of the guys in sort of a second full year. What about the step Jordan Love could take this year? Is he one of those guys? He certainly has
I think so.
The pieces around him. But you go and you look at the rookies then now. Is there a CJ Stroud, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes type first year of playing in the NFL out of this group? I certainly think there is the possibility, and Caleb Williams is at the forefront. I got to tell you, I like Caleb Williams. It's getting annoying how many non-football things continue to pop into his headlines. No contract. Man, I'm ready to just see him play football because I'm so sick of talking about everything else with him. And I love what the Bears have surrounded him with. I do. Can Jaden Daniels be a really impactful rookie? He's very talented. I don't like his situation hardly at all in Washington. I don't really like what's around him there. Drake May's not going to have a lot to work with. I think J.J. McCarthy, by the time he takes the reins, will probably end up being real good. Like he'll be able to step right because he's not going to get it right away, but just all the weaponry there. It is an interesting class, and CJ Stroud came out of last year's, and we didn't see it. So if it's not Caleb Williams, because I don't think most people saw CJ Stroud as that guy last year, Caleb Williams is the number 1 overall pick. And if it's not Caleb Williams, though, which of these guys this year do you think is capable of that CJ Stroud? You know what? Let's leave Caleb Williams in it. Any of them capable of that sort of CJ Stroud? Even go back to what Justin Herbert did his rookie year, if you remember it. Like anybody making that sort of impact, you think, this year?
Well, the easy answer is Caleb Williams because of the weapons that he has at wide receiver. Like that's the best, I think, wide receiver collection out of all the rookie quarterbacks. Of course,
so good.
Of course, JJ McCarthy has Justin Jefferson, but really, other than that, there's
Addison and Will
Addison, but Addison may miss a little bit of time. I don't know if you saw that. He got arrested and all that, but
I did.
I think overall the quarterback collection is probably better for Caleb Williams, and I think that those quarterbacks fit Caleb Williams the best. But outside of Williams, I'm going Jaden Daniels. I actually do like his situation in Washington. I think
his legs could.
I think he does have. He's got good weapons. Brian Robinson is a good back, and he's got Terry McLaurin, and he's got Jahan Dotson. Like there are good
Austin Eckler.
There are good wide receivers in Washington. They also made some improvements on the offensive line. Former Chief Andrew Wiley is going to start at right tackle for the Commanders, and so I do think that Jaden Daniels has a good situation, probably not as good as the one that Caleb Williams is walking into, but I've always liked Jaden Daniels in his game.
I know he's your
more
guy.
than Caleb Williams' game. So I do think that you can compensate with that.
If he can bail out the line, he's going to have a chance to be okay. I agree. But he's got to bail out the line because that's been an issue there. But yeah, Dotson, McLaurin, they've got some dudes. They do. And they've also, of course, they've got a new coach there as well. So I love thinking about this stuff because I love good quarterback play. I wish every team in the league had a good quarterback. It's just the game is better. CJ Stroud was a blast to watch last year. I do think Caleb Williams can be that guy. I really do. There are a lot of things now, a lot more that, spook me a little bit than there used to be. Just always something, there's always something that's not football, it seems like, with him. But man, I love his game, and they have done such a good job of putting the pieces around him. I suppose you could still say coaching might be a concern there. I don't know, but I do know that they're the the players that impact this league the most. Houston was the biggest surprise of last year. CJ Stroud's the reason why. Now they've given him a bunch of weapons, so we'll see. Just a couple of things around the NFL as headlines are kind of coming in. Not much from Chiefs camp yesterday, by the way. It was kind of a quiet day as they get ready to really ramp it up here right away. This weekend they'll be taking it in full force. All right, let's set up our second giveaway. This will be the final pair of our NBC World Series tickets we're doing. So you can get your hands on some of those tickets by texting the keyword right now, STRIKE, STRIKE, to 20357. That'll give you a chance to win a pair of tickets. Message and data rates apply. Last day for this, so if you want to go out to the NBC World Series, now's your chance. Enter that keyword, STRIKE, 20357. Good luck, everybody. We'll come back. More Sports Daily right after this.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first,
When you need it.
wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
Oh, man. I was seeing this report in The Athletic this morning, Tommy, that the Royals and Rangers were real close to a trade last year at the deadline that would have sent Salvador Perez and Brady Singer to the Rangers.
I read that.
And it brought back John Gray, I think, and I don't know who else was in it. Boy. Whew. You think they would have regretted that one?
Well, and Salvi, it sounded like was open to that. If they could have gotten a deal
Right,
done,
and
he was willing to waive his no trade clause and do that.
It was an interesting, we remember back to that. That was the big question, is would he be willing? And I guess he was for that one. That would have been an interesting collision of my worlds, as Salvador Perez has become my favorite non-Ranger as far as just, favorite players go. I people that listen to this show know that I love Salvador Perez. I think he is one of the most fun players to watch. Future Hall of Famer. This season would be very different without those two players. Trade deadline is a risky proposition. Not usually as much when you're adding, but yeah, you think about that as a seller. This season would not have happened.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be in this position right now. That's wild.
Hey, by the way, kind of a change of topic here really quick. We haven't talked about the Open Championship at all today. Tiger Woods going to miss the cut. He's done.
Because nobody interesting is in the mix.
That's not true. It's not. Justin Rose is in the mix. Shane Lowry is in the mix. Like, there are some players that are,
real
are right
needle
there
movers. Justin Rose and Shane Lowry. they're fine. Scheffler's close.
Yeah, Scheffler
enough.
is right. He's in the top 5. So, of course, he's, he made that move earlier today. But yeah, I think obviously the top storyline, Tiger, 14 over through the first 2 rounds, going to miss that cut. And I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody should be at this point. He's just not going to be able to go out and, compete at a high level like he used to.
Gary Woodland had himself around today. Has anybody been better than his 68 today? He had a 68 today. I don't know if you saw that.
There have been a couple people that have matched that. I know that Billy Horschel had a 68. I don't know if anybody went lower than that.
That is wild. It's scoring a little better today, but he played himself into the weekend for sure. And Adam Hadwin just 1 over through 7. So if he can score like some of these other guys. What's the cut line at right now?
Looks like the cut line 5. Yeah, 5 over.
5. So Hadwin's at 5. And I think the difference and why that's more interesting maybe than perhaps it normally is because the difference between the leaders and the cut line is much smaller probably than it might normally be. And we know in this tournament in particular, Shane Lowry could come out and fire a 5 over.
And Shane Lowry's a former Open champion, won it a couple of years ago. Justin Thomas, who was near the top of the lead or at the top of the lead yesterday, is in the middle of a terrible round right now. He's 7 over on his round and has fallen all the way back to just 1 stroke inside the cut line. So he's got to do a little bit of work to make sure that he even makes the cut. And that's the difference in, a tournament like this, is that you can have a great round and then it can all fall apart and all of a sudden you're maybe outside of the cut line.
But you put together 2 good rounds on the weekend, regardless of what you did. If you make the cut, you might win the tournament.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go back-to-back 68s like Woodland shoots today, and then all of a sudden, we'll see. I need you to keep me apprised, Tommy. I will be running around a bunch this weekend. If Woodland or Hadwin get into the mix, just let me know, and I'll pay a little bit of attention. I'll not a ton.
You know,
We've got
some other notable
other
notable names that are going to miss the cut. Rory. I mean, unless he does something crazy, here in the next, he's only played 5 holes on the day, but he's 5 over in those 5 holes. He's 12 over overall. He's got to really turn it around as the second half of his second round continues. He's going to miss the cut. It looks like, who else is going to miss the cut here that's notable? Really, it's mainly those 2. Max Homa is going to miss the cut probably. Victor Hovland, Adam Scott, Zach Johnson, Ricky Fowler looks like he's probably going to miss the cut. And then, of course, there's a bunch of those golfers that are right on the line, like Phil Mickelson is right there. Bryson DeChambeau is right there. They're right on the cut line, to see if they end up making the weekend.
Yeah, it's fine. I need Scheffler to be in it, or one of the guys I'm following it, because I'll be watching TBT. I'm going to go to the Wind Surge game tomorrow. Like, I got other things that are going to trump the British Open. That they're playing in Great Britain, I believe. Scotland's still a part of Great Britain, right? I'm not a good world geography.
Yeah, I don't know my European.
Chad, is Scotland still in Great Britain? They are. Right?
I believe they voted to remain. Yes.
Yeah. I know that was a thing recently, but we're your experts on geopolitical
England,
things
Scotland, and Wales. Those are apparently the 3 countries that make
one of the Irelands. I thought one of the Irelands was still in it.
No, it's currently England, Scotland, and Wales.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, it's still the British Open until forever. Unless they play it in France, then I'll call it something else. It's all very confusing. We're going to come back. We'll sort it out. We'll tell you what's on the scope this weekend on Sports Daily when we return.
Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door, or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News This Morning on KWCH and KSEW.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV is investigative journalism.
Should this be better regulated? How big of a problem is that?
We want to get answers. We want to teach you something.
Should they be revoking these certifications?
Should I be concerned?
And it allows us to tell the best of the best stories and show them to you every day.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
The Catchies are back. No matter the sport, no matter the school. Highlighting the best overall high school boys and girls athletes in the state. Now's the time to vote for who takes home a Catchie. Help us recognize the top high school athletes in Kansas by scanning the code on your screen to vote, or go to catchitkansas.com and vote there for the Catchie Awards.
The Catchies, brought to you by Hutchinson Community College and Prairie Land Partners.
All right, that's it, everybody. Hope you're surviving the technology issues of the day and things can get back on track for you here. Sports Daily, always glad to have you. However it is you take in the show, KFH, 12 News Connected, all the different ways. This weekend, you've got Royals baseball. Tonight, you'll get coverage beginning at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, you'll get coverage beginning at 6. And Sunday, you'll get coverage beginning at 1 o'clock. Infinity Sports Network programming today up until that first pitch, including Bob and Jeff here locally. Have a great weekend, everybody. For Jad and Tommy, I'm Jacob. We will see you on Monday.